Okay, today we're taking a quick look at a starter issue we're having with our 87 Toyota Corolla SR5. Specifically, the issue is intermittent cranking. So sometimes we can get the car to crank, sometimes we can't. Or when I say crank, I mean start. So after ruling out the battery and the starter as the issues, we figured out that the actual issue is the neutral safety switch. The neutral safety switch is it's a switch that controls when you can crank the engine. It basically makes sure that you're either in neutral or park before you can crank the motor. So to point out, the actual sensor is on the tranny, but it comes up and joins the harness, the engine harness right here. Specifically this outer connector with the black wire, and there's a black wire with a white stripe. Now in our case, it would be ideal to just replace the sensor and the harness attached to it, but that is first of all a discontinued part, but also a $300 part from Toyota. At least I don't think you can even get it aftermarket. So the only option we had was to create a bypass. Now you could get two spade terminals and just disconnect this harness right here and just jump the two wires. But I didn't want to clip the harness, and I didn't want to use something that would be exposed to water, such as just jumper wires. So what I've done is I've gone to the junker and made my own little jumper by pulling the harness out of a car at the junker and just connecting the two wires. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to bypass the safety switch and allow us to crank the motor in any position. Now that's not a good thing, but it's really we really have no choice unless we want to blow $300 on a sensor, and finding a new sensor or even a used one is near impossible. Here in Canada, we don't really have access to any auto SR5s. They just don't exist. So this one here, this connector specifically, is out of a 87 I think they call it Toyota van. I think back then they didn't even call it the Previa. I think they just called it the van, Toyota van. And I got this out of that car, and I created it, or I binded these two wires together, so it's basically a bypass. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. Okay, we're back now. Let me get the light. That'll help a little bit. So now you can see I've disconnected the original harness. I'm just going to let it dangle there. I didn't want to clip it in case I ever figure out how to fix the sensor down at the tranny. So I wanted to keep the original connector here. But I put in the one out of the van to go here to bypass it. So now it'll start. This will bypass the sensor issue. Now, like I said already, this is not an ideal fix. However, this will fix our issue specifically. It's not the safest, obviously, because you don't want to really crank the motor if you've got it in gear. It's not going to like break the engine, but it'll want to lurch forward immediately. Okay, so here we go. Now remember, the car wasn't starting before, but she should start now. Come on, girl. There you go. She started right up. First try. It's minus 30 degrees, so you'll have to forgive the stalling issues, but she cranks. Anyway, so that's all for now.